Hey guys, today's video is going to be a little different, as you can tell by the title. As just like a single girl in her 20s living in a city away from home, all alone, I feel like these stories will be relatable for a lot of people. I feel like they'll be entertaining, but let me know what you end up thinking, because I have a whole arsenal of like random shit I could talk about that I think is just very crazy. Let's start off with the first story with the guy who didn't brush his teeth. Are you joking? So I met this guy and not ashamed. Okay, I don't like to claim dating apps because I, for one, will never be on one again. I'm making this promise right now because anytime I've ever been on one, which is not that often, I've always had a very shitty experience. And I also just don't like the concept of swipe. It's like it dehumanizes people when you're just kind of swiping through and picking up people based on their looks and not even their energy, their confidence, their conversational skills, none of that, just their looks, and you're deciding. And then of course you text after or whatever, but like meeting a person on a dating app and then you have this whole like idea of them in your head and then like you meet them in person and it's completely fucking different. I can't do that shit anymore. And I also just, again, like it's too, I don't want to say easy. People think like as a girl it's easy. It's still not easy, okay? It's not easy. It's not real. Like it doesn't feel good. Like it's depressing. I'm not going to do it anymore, okay? And I think it works for some people. I just don't think it works for me. I just don't have faith in it anymore. And I want to meet someone naturally. So anyways, whatever. Moving forward. So I met this guy on Hinge and he was very attractive at first sight. Super tall, super like pretty face, like very nice looking guy, perfectly straight teeth. Like, I mean, great. I was like, okay, cool. We met up for drinks. That was fun. He did complain that I didn't finish my drink, but like, it was like a $7 drink. Like, it's okay if I didn't want to finish it. Like, do you want me to pay you back? But it's fine. I let it go. And I remember one time I went to his house and it was this beautiful 4-story house. It was like insane. And it's like, come, like, I'll give you a tour, and like walk me through his like sister's like personal room and personal stuff. I was like, dude, I feel weird being here right now. Like, why are you showing me this? But it was like a beautiful home. It was his family home, not his own. His dad is like a C-suite member of a grocery store chain. So very high up in ranks and money, especially grocery store is such a necessity. So many people are shopping there. And this was a big chain. I'm not going to say exactly which one. But yes, this dude's family had a lot of money. I remember one time we were watching a movie at his house and I was like cold and I was like, can I have a blanket? And he just like tossed me one that was already on the couch. And I was like using it and I looked and there was a tag still attached to it. And I was like, oh, the tag's still on this blanket. And I look at the tag, the blanket was $5,000. 3 zeros. That's like proper fuck you money. They had like 3 boats. They had just so much at that house. I was in awe. I was blown away. Anyways, none of that matters because this dude was like properly insecure. He would always tell me that he made more money than I did, when in reality, his house, their boats, the blanket even, was all his dad's money. And I knew what his job was and I knew around how much they would make at that job. And I knew that I personally grossed a higher annual income than this dude did. And I didn't mind it, you know, I never compared our money, but I just, by the way, he would like complain about me not finishing my drink, which was one time because it was like disgusting. I just couldn't stomach it. I was like, something's like not adding up here. And then he would start like comparing our salaries, which was like weird to me because like I would never bring up how much money I made. But I think he was just like wanting to prove that he had a lot of money. But then he would always tell me that girls wanted him as a sugar daddy. He was like not that old. He was like my age, but apparently girls just wanted him for his money, and he would just feel the need to tell me all about that. And I was like, okay, I don't like really need anyone for any money. Like, that's not my vibe. Like, that's not my style. It's cool that you have a beautiful house. It's not your house. And I don't mind either way. That's not like why I'm here. Okay, I'm here because I thought you were a proper man who brushed his teeth. I just remember like one day we hung out and we were getting ready to go to bed, and I was kind of surprised that he didn't brush his teeth, but I like let it go. I was like, okay, sometimes people brush their teeth only in the mornings, which is not the most hygienic, but I was like, okay, as long as it's like once a day, it's fine. Then he woke up that morning and he didn't brush his teeth. And I was like, okay, maybe he just doesn't have a toothbrush here, so he's uncomfortable. I'm gonna offer him a toothbrush. Do you want a toothbrush? No, I'm okay. Okay, and maybe he's gonna go home and brush his teeth. So like that makes sense, right? You'll go home, you'll brush your teeth. It's like the morning time, you're leaving, and you'll go home and you'll brush your teeth. Please don't come near me until that's done, but you know, you'll go home and you'll brush your teeth. I trust in that. I believe in that. And then one time we were hanging out, and he came over to my apartment, uninvited. He asked me to hang out, and he picked a time, but he didn't like pick a place. So I was like, okay, I'm just gonna get ready for anything. He said he's gonna come grab me, so whatever. He ended up showing up like a couple hours late, so I was like, okay, I'm gonna go back into my pajamas. He came to my apartment, and I'm like, oh, what's that? And he has a little bag, and he's like, it's my overnight bag, I'm spending the night. I was like, okay, so like you're inviting yourself over to spend the night. Like I truly thought we were going out. Like, what is this? But sure, yeah, hang out, like no worries. And he ends up spending the night like uninvited, again, doesn't brush his teeth. But I'm like, okay, dude has his overnight bag, right? He's at least prepared this time. Because last time we hung out, it was at my house. He wasn't prepared, whatever. This time, he brought his overnight bag. He wakes up the next morning, doesn't brush his teeth. I don't even think he brought a toothbrush. I don't even know if he owns a toothbrush. And I'm like, oh, like, do you need to brush your teeth? He's like, no, I'm good. And I'm like, oh. And then he goes over to my kitchen sink, turns the faucet on, and starts drinking the water from the faucet and like gargling it. And I'm like, what are you doing? And I gasp. I'm like, I have cups. Like, what are you doing? You don't need to do all that. I have filtered water. I have cups. Like, are you trying to drink water? Like, what are you trying to do here? And he's like, I just needed to like gargle. Like, I'm good. In my kitchen sink? Like, I have like a bathroom. I never saw that man again, because once I give you 2 chances, technically 4 chances morning and night, but 2, we'll just say 2 mornings to brush your teeth and you don't, then we have an issue. If I've offered you a toothbrush, if I've offered you the toothpaste, if I've offered you the time and space, and you still deny brushing your teeth, that's the thing with like dating app guys. From my experience, let me preface, someone's gonna be like, oh my god, I married my first Hinge match. Oh, you're good, I'm happy. Me, they look great on paper, and then there's something wildly wrong about them when I get to know them. So that's my story. Moving on. This story took place a couple years ago. I was dating my boyfriend at the time, who's now my ex, and we were long distance. We broke up like years ago, but at this time we were in a long distance relationship, and he lived in a different state than me. And so a lot of our relationship consisted of communicating over the phone. And I just remember like, I would always like be there for him. I would always text him, call him, whatever. Like if he needed me, I'd be on the phone. But I just remember like the opposite was never true. Like I feel like if I needed him, he would be like, I'm busy. Like, I don't want to talk to you right now. And he was very self-absorbed in a way. And I just remember it hurting my feelings. So I remember reaching out to him and being like, hey, like, I don't really appreciate this. I feel like you're not really there for me. And I feel like I'm constantly like at your beck and call, but you just don't care about me. And you don't like visit me. You don't really talk to me. It's just all about you all the time. And we got in a pretty big fight about this, and he kept saying that I was wrong. When he realized that I was quite serious about this, he started apologizing. So a few days later, he started apologizing and saying like, hey, like, I'm so sorry that, you know, you feel this way. Like, I truly do care about you. Like, you don't understand. Like, I place so much attention on you. I care about you so much. And I was just like, okay, like, I'm gonna have to think about this. Like, this is really hurting me, and I don't know how I feel. At this point, a few days had passed in the fight, and we were kind of at a standstill. I remember coming home one day, and my roommate just has like a vase with like 3 roses in it, and she's like, this is for you. I was like, my face immediately fell. I was like, what the fuck is this? And she had no idea that my boyfriend at the time and I were fighting. She's like, I don't know, someone like left it at the door. And I look at it and it's from him, just like very casual note, like, love you, thinking of you, like, hope you're doing well, take care. And I'm like, huh? Are we not in the middle of a big fight right now? Did he get me flowers to like say sorry? I text him and I'm like, I got your flowers. Like, we probably need to talk about this because this is like, what is this? And he texted me like, oh, like, great, I'm glad you got them. Like, I do miss you. I sent those a while ago. And I was like, oh, you sent them a while ago. When did you send them? And he was like, yeah, I placed the order like 2 weeks ago. Pre our fight. So the whole reason I started the fight was because I felt like he didn't care about me. And so for him to like send flowers or whatever just because directly contradicted my gut feeling of starting the fight in the first place. And I was like, am I going crazy? Like, have I been fighting with him for no reason at all? So I called the flower place. I called the flower shop and I said, hey, like, I have a question. You just delivered flowers to my door today. And I want to know when these were sent. I want to know when the order was placed. The lady on the phone was like, I don't really know if we're allowed to like say because it's like private, like customer data. Please just tell me when the order was placed because I was losing my mind. I think because it was like girl to girl, like I felt like she was just like a true, like she just understood how I was feeling. And she's like, all right, 1 second. Tap, 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 tap. This order was placed at 3 a.m. last night. So he goes and he orders these flowers online in the middle of the night at 3 a.m. to send the next day, types up a casual note just thinking about you, and then has the audacity to tell me that he sent the flowers 2 weeks ago. This man was the king of gaslighting. He did that to make me feel crazy for starting a fight. He's like, see, I do care about you. I send you flowers randomly, and you're telling me I don't care about you. You know what the craziest part was though? I was at a place in my life where I was smart enough to get this information, but I was still stupid enough to not mention it to him and pretend like I believed him. I just didn't want to fight anymore, so I just wanted to accept it. But I knew he was lying to me the entire time, and I just said nothing. I was like, oh, great, thanks. Like, you do care about me. Oh my God. And then our relationship continued for another like X amount of months until we broke up. So anyways, if you like this, let me know. I have 1,000 more stories like this, not just of guys, but just of life. Like there's lots, okay? But also the sun went down. Can you tell? Like the entire lighting changed. I kind of like this lighting more because it's golden hour. It's making my skin look like my skin's never looked before. So maybe I'll start recording this time more often. Anyways, I love you. Talk to me soon, okay? Because I'll go crazy without you.